Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to go a bit rogue on this one. So I'm going to first start talking about how we expect different things from our technology in our personal lives than what we do when we're in the business, when we're in the corporate environment. And the first thing I'm going to draw my own attention to, and to everybody's attention to, is this thing here. It could be any brand, just to be clear, but the number of banking apps that I've got on this device is six. I have six personal banking or six personal finance apps in the palm of my hand at any one time, and I use them all. I use them for different things, of course. One of the changes that has been driven through regulation, I think most people will be aware here, is the Payment Service Directive number 2, PSD2. And in the UK, that's known as open banking. It's our interpretation of that. And what that's really allowed me to do in my personal life is to log on to any one of my online banking apps and actually see all of the information from my other banking providers and my other finance providers. I think that's really interesting that what I expect in my personal life to what corporations, what corporates and treasurers expect when we get into the office. It's a totally different experience. So I worked in treasury. I actually started working in treasury in August of 2010. And it was, to be precise, it was 4 years after leaving high school. And the technology that we used there was, yes, there was an ERP for the finance ops side of things, and we had a treasury management system. But the thing that I really used was Excel and online banking, because it was my job to tell the guy who's going to do the front office trading how much money we had or how much money we really needed. And so, whilst we have really nice systems, really snazzy systems, I was left with online banking and Excel. And when we look back into that was 2010, and when I speak to a lot of the prospects and a lot of my customers before they start using AccessPay, I say, "How are you doing treasury?" And they kind of regurgitate that same thing. They go, "Oh yeah, we've got a TMS, we've got an ERP." I go, "By any chance, do you still use Excel?" Of course, I use Excel. Because my online banking doesn't give me exactly what I need because I've got my own requirements. I need to, you know, amend some of the figures slightly. I need to present them in a different way. And the online banking is, well, for what I know, my real-time balance at this moment, I'm going to log on to my online banking. If we compare that journey, that's almost 10 years now since I started in treasury and where we are today. And people are still using the same technologies that I was when I started out. 10 years ago, I did not have a smartphone with all of my banking apps, being able to see all of the accounts from all of the different providers. I thought when I was thinking of coming here today and speaking in front of you people, you lovely people for that matter, what I thought was that's crazy. How have we moved on so much in our personal lives and what we expect from technology, but when we go into the workplace, we just expect that online banking and Excel is the norm. And I think I'll go into my solution very soon, I promise. But I really saw this when I was just going out, and I was going out, and we went go-karting with work. And we all went from the office, and we've all got, we've got laptops, but we've got mice. We work on our keyboards, and we walked into the go-kart, and they said, "Can you just go over there and register?" And without hesitation, everyone walked over. There was a keyboard, there was a mouse in front of us, and we all started pressing the screen because we expected the technology in our personal lives that it would be touch technology. But that was another business, and they were saying, "No, there's a keyboard, there's a mouse there. You just type your details normally." And it was at that moment I was like, this is bonkers. How are we in a situation where we've got such a big disconnect between what we expect in our personal lives, I repeat it, and what we expect within industry? And that's just purely on the examples I've given there were really on me calculating how much cash we had, what we're going to do with that. When we got onto the payment side of things, I remember once calling up a bank asking them to make a payment. Calling up a bank. What? It was 2010 at the time. So why was that normal? Only when I left high school in 2006, I was getting my telephone banking through. I was like, "Oh yes, this is amazing." And then very soon after, I got my online banking, and that was amazing. And that's still the same, and it's still the same now. So at AccessPay, what we recognize that there's a lot of error. There's a lot of error when you introduce manual processes into any operation. Whether that be the cash management element or whether that be the payment execution. So we've touched on the cash management, the payment execution. Again, a lot of people before they come to AccessPay are still using online banking portals to upload all of their payment files. So they export out of either their TMS or their ERPs, and they're uploading that into their online banking portals, which it doesn't seem that bad. That's great until you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 banks, and every bank has a slightly different format as to how you upload those files, and it just doesn't scale very well. And there's more and more risk introduced in that process. So we said, okay, at AccessPay, okay, well, what can we do about this? How can we change this? And we thought, okay, well, we've got the technology, and there's loads of existing technologies out there. These things called host-to-host, Swift, APIs. And then we went back to that personal life, and we said, actually, people don't care about that stuff. What they care about is the outcome. I don't care if it's an API that drives all those integrations on my phone, whether it's host-to-host or Swift. What I care is that I can see all of my information, and I can connect with all of my banks through one platform, through one software, one piece of software. And so what we realized in that moment is that treasurers, you lovely people, you don't actually buy software. It's not what you're buying. You're investing in outcomes. And at AccessPay, what we've realized is that the outcome that you're looking for, the outcome that you want, is really to be able to connect to banks quicker. You want to be able to connect to banks quicker in a more secure manner. You want to be able to make payments at scale with control of those payments and those payments processes. You want to be able to consume all of that data, all of that information back from your banks, and then actually receive that into your in-house systems, into the ERP, into the TMS, and to be able to just go on and automate that workflow, because there's a lot of manual hours, there's a lot of risk associated to the reconciliation of payments. I'm preaching to the converted, I hope. There's a lot of manual process in there, and again, that manual process is fraught with risk. So with AccessPay, we are a full integration platform connecting you as a corporate and all of your back office systems to your banks, and then connecting your banks to you and your back office systems. In the meantime, we have a couple of applications on top of that platform. We have a cash management application called BankSense, and this is where we allow you to visualize all of that information up and really replace that Excel and online banking for the operational tasks, not those strategic movements, not all of that monitoring your exposure, but really, how much cash have I got today at this moment in time? On the payment side, we have the unified payments platform. And what this is doing, this is where we're allowing you to just centralize all of your back office systems and push them to AccessPay. And we've created the gateway between your back office systems and your banks. We transform all of the data. We allow you to put checks in. We advise whether something looks slightly awry, whether something looks slightly fraudulent. If you've never paid a supplier before, we'll note that you've never paid these SSIs before. Are you sure? As well as currencies that you may never have paid before as well. With that in mind, this is the payments platform. We connect those payments, we transform, and we deliver to all of the gateways. We work closely with a lot of banks to make sure the payment files that we deliver to those banks are to the standards, so that they don't get rejected when they arrive at the bank. As I said earlier, we don't focus on how we connect, because that's not what you want. What you want is that secure connection in a quick manner and making sure that it's scalable for all of your banks. So I'll just leave you with the final piece, which is we want to help you achieve your goals as a company. We are one platform to connect to all of your banks and all of your banks to you. We are AccessPay. Thank you.